Thank you for joining us on CBN News in Brief. My name is Wangui Ngugi. A mediation committee comprising of key businessmen and elders has met both the opposition parties in Somaliland and the president in a bid to broker a deal between the two parties. The committee, led by Mohamed Ahmed Farah, has convinced the president to release two Wadani party officials that had been arrested 7 days ago. The chairman of the Volunteer Mediation Committee, Mohamed Ahmed Farah, said that President Musa Bihi has promised to release the detained Wadani party officials, who are its Secretary General Kadar Hussein and the party's spokesman Bakad Jama Batoon. The committee has urged the people of Somaliland to bestow legitimacy upon them and has promised to secure and resolve the dispute between the government and opposition parties. The group has also urged the government and the opposition to avoid anything that will escalate the political tension in the country. 3 people were killed and others wounded in a gunfight in northern Sanag region. 2 groups from different clans fought over gold deposits unasked by floods, according to authorities. Jama Jibril Jama, a local councillor at Erigavo town, said the clashes started in the Wak Daria area of the Ged Mountains, where locals mine for gold. He added it's hard to reach the area because of floods that have blocked roads. He urged the authorities in Sanag region to stop the fighting. Gold rush started in Sanag region a few years back after gold was discovered in the remote northern mountains of the region. With a weak government presence, conflicts often do arise. However, it is the first time that violent clashes over gold fortunes have erupted in the area. The new Somaliland Electoral Commissioner, sworn in yesterday by Honorable Aadan Haji Ali, who is Somaliland's Chief Justice of the High Court, are constitutionally invalid. This is according to lawyer Guled Dafak, who said their swearing in was collective, unlike the citations of Election Act. The members were sworn in collectively, unlike the Constitution's citation, which says they should be sworn in individually. The procedure followed was not the one stipulated by the Constitution, according to lawyer Guled Dafa, who is a lawyer at Hakdon Law Firm. The lawyer has advised the Chief Justice of Somaliland to do the oath again. Lawyer Guled Dafa, who is also the former chairman of Somaliland Human Rights Center, says the same happened in the United States during the swearing-in of President Barack Obama in the year 2009, when he had to be sworn in again a date after the initial swearing-in because he missed to follow the correct words in the Constitution. Thus, following the constitutional format is important. Somaliland government detained 9 Arab hunters while trying to leave the country. The 9 men were apprehended at Igal International Airport in Hargeisa while trying to board the plane destined to the United Arab Emirates. They were arrested for hunting wildlife illegally in the Sabuanag district in the Marudije region. Reports say the men convinced locals that they were implementing development projects in the area. Photos of their hunting expedition caused outrage on social media, alerting the authorities. Hunting wildlife is prohibited in Somaliland except for licensed persons for specified periods of time. Somaliland's Jubaland State Vice President Mahmoud Said Adan is said to be holed up at a hotel in Mandera, Kenya for safety reasons. This comes after Ethiopian forces are said to have prevented him from visiting Bulahawa, which is a Somalia border town. According to security reports, Mr. Adan and his entourage were booked at the hotel 5 days ago by Kenyan security agencies in Mandera, and their security immediately taken over by the Kenya Defense Forces. A lobby group by the name Somali Democratic Council has accused the Ethiopian troops of preventing the vice president from visiting the city of Beled Xaawo in Gedo, Jubaland State. The SDC said the incident was a clear and unmistakable invasion by the Ethiopian government. In a protest letter dated November 20, 2019 and addressed to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the United States-based group accused Ethiopia and the federal government of Somalia, led by President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, of meddling in Jubaland affairs. The letter, signed by Abdikarim A. Omar, who is the council's chairman, read in part, and I quote, "Mr. Secretary General, we the Somali Democratic Council would like to make you aware of the grave and deeply disturbing events that are unfolding in the Jubaland state of Somalia, where non-AMISOM Ethiopian troops are wreaking unimaginable havoc by detaining duly elected officials in the cities of Beled Xaawo, Dalo, and Luke." End of quote. Mr. Omar added that unfortunately, the federal government of Somalia is in cohorts with Ethiopian government forces to create chaos in Jubaland. He added that the UN should come out with a clear statement that the international community will no longer tolerate the continuation of Mr. Farmajo's government's misguided policies and the usage of foreign troops to subjugate and suppress the will of the Somali people. On the first day of the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children, participants at a public awareness forum in Mogadishu called for an end to violence against women in conflict, gender-based sexual violence, and conflict-related sexual violence. Organized by the African Union Mission in Somalia, the forum brought together youth groups, women's organizations, local councils, internally displaced persons, and officials from the federal government of Somalia to explore avenues for reporting abuses, survivor assistance of the community and police levels, and referral arrangements in cases of violations. For the 16 days of activism, AMISOM is going to hold a series of workshops and outreach programs in various parts of Somalia aimed at advocating for the end to gender-based violence and other forms of violence against women and children, which ties into AMISOM's campaign for community-led initiatives for sustainable peace. Turkey is set to gift Djibouti, East Africa's largest mosque, which has been built in the capital city. The Turkish Diyanet Foundation launched the construction of the mosque in the year 2017, and it will be inaugurated later this month. The mosque is named after the prominent Ottoman Sultan Abdulhamid II. Modeled in the style of classic Ottoman architecture, the mosque majestically stands at a suitable area of 13,000 square meters overlooking the Red Sea shores near the Djiboutian presidential palace. The mosque has enough room for 5,000 people to pray at once. It will be the largest landmark in the capital and its immediate region. Well, that's the end of our CBA News in Brief. Join Abdullahi Hassan with more detailed news.